Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Scarlett and today we are going to have a butt day workout. Butt day, not birthday, that happens once a year, but we're going to hit it multiple times a week and I'm going to talk about how to build that cake butt delicious as in yourself, you know, don't want to be creepy. And I'm also going to talk about muscle growth, how to maximize it by talking about the theory of muscle damage. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get to this. Should you stretch before a workout? For me personally, I like to stretch a little bit of it. I will explain the science behind this, also some exceptions to this. So normally when you stretch in a tendon, there are Golgi tendon organs, and these are those little neurons that travel up there into the spinal cord and then back out into the muscle. And when these are activated, these cause the muscle to relax, tells the muscle to relax. You may now relax. In a scenario where your muscles is really pulled tightly, you do not want to continue it to contract because that will create more tension, more tautness, and you might pull the muscle or the tendon or something like that. So if you are stretching it beforehand, the workout, then you may feel some weakness in your muscle for contraction. But I definitely think it also depends on the amount of time you are stretching it. If you're stretching for a little bit less than 30 seconds in each movement, it would be fine. That's my take on this. But if you're standing there and doing it for 2 minutes, then it will definitely cause your muscles to weaken. And for me personally, I think the stretching makes me relieve soreness from the previous workouts a little bit more, although there may not be that much of science to it, but it could be psychological too. And another one is people might find foam roll better than stretching too. So find out which one works for you and just make sure that you are not static stretching for too long. So yeah, before this workout, I static stretched for like 3 to 4 minutes in total, 10 to 20 seconds for each movement, and then I did dynamic exercises, or you can also call the activation glute exercises after that. First movement for this workout is the Smith machine squat. Normally I would go for the barbell squat, but they were already taken by so many people. Plus I was injured about 2 months ago during my squats. So, which is why I'm taking it easy, just doing the easy, normal Smith machine squat with light weights right now. So just remember to go low or go home. And the next quote is to progressively overload. I know it's so often talked about in the fitness industry, and it is often talked about because it is really, really true. And that happens because the stress from the exercise causes damage in your muscles, and while that damage is happening, at the same time, it also causes the satellite cells. So these are those little magical miracle cells near the muscle cells that can donate new nuclei, causing that like regeneration of the muscle. And because of damage is not bad. It causes more regeneration of the muscle. So that is really good. So that is what progressively overloading is doing to your muscles. So make sure you're doing it. Next movement is the queen of butt workouts, the hip thrust. So when you're doing this, just make sure that you're doing the proper form, and that means tucking your back close to the bench and not moving your head along with the barbell as you swing back and forth, but instead keeping the head and the neck straight and just tilting your pelvis upwards into the air. And that will make a huge difference in your glutes. And also make sure the knees are parallel to the floor and so on, stuff like that. All those little nuances make a huge difference to your butt growth. And soon after my injury, I also found out that isometric training really helped a lot increase the intensity of the workout, even though I'm not increasing the weights. And that means like holding them weights at the isometric position. And for the hip thrust, that would be on top of the hip thrust. And I would do this for like 20 to 30 seconds, and you will really feel the burn. Your muscles will cry. The other thing that I talked about progressively overloading is not just the weights and the reps. it also the exercises that you're doing. So make sure you're not doing all these same exercises over and over again. I don't mean compound movements. Doing them over and over again is fine, it's good, it's practice. But I mean for some isolation movements, such for example, if you're doing so many normal stiff leg deadlift, you could switch it up with a B stance, for example. And for this hip thrust, I am also adding staggered hip thrusts into my booty day, and that is for today. So next week or next 3 weeks or 2 weeks, something like that, I will add on something different. So this is how I go about my glute training, guys. So the staggered one will work one cheek and then the other, and the next one, frog pumps, will work really well on the side glutes. So if you're wanting that hourglass body, put those things in your glute workouts. Now we are crushing it at the heat of the workout, and for this one I am using a mini barbell doing side lateral lunges. You will find this working on your quads a lot too, and if you want a further variation of it, you can also put the lunging leg on a chair or something to elevate and touch other areas of your glutes too. As I said before, I like to do variations, especially for my isolation workouts, but it doesn't mean that all those doing lots of variation might work for you or not. You just have to figure it out, which one works best. And so the other variation I like to do is the normal lunges. So sometimes I do Bulgarian, sometimes I do normal lunges. Just make sure you are switching it up for that novelty in the exercise. And when doing glute workouts, make sure you're having some abduction movement in, and that means moving the hips to the side in order to grow the side butt, as I talked about before, and get some of resistance band, or if you don't have one, it's fine to use the normal barbell. I sometimes like to put a plate on my side glute, and that works well. Just keep the reps pretty high, but also not very high that it's over like 30 reps or something like that. So yeah, just keep the full range of motion in and feel the burn. As always, I want my butt to feel like a dead fish at the end of a workout. So just make sure that I'm hitting that in all directions. And this time I did some donkey kickbacks with the machine, and if you want a cable machine, do that. So I like the cable machine more, but this time I'm just experimenting, and you know, experimenting never hurts. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it and also learned something from it. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a like, thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on my next video.